Hi, this is a very brief recording going over the instructions for the exam 2 for our critical thinking class. These are the instructions that you received. If you don't have them with you, you can find them on Blackboard under Content, Integrative Exercises. Please make sure that you send the exam to my Gmail account on Sunday, August 4th before 6 a.m. That means that you should be working on it on Saturday night or finishing it up on Saturday night. You need to save the document as a doc or docx document, and you will attach that document to your email. It should read your last name underscore exam2 and then whatever kind of file you created. If your exam is not saved that way, I will not grade it. I will not receive multiple documents and grade them. I will not receive zip files and download them and grade them. What you need to do as a good critical thinker is pay attention to the instructions and make sure that you save your document as your last name underscore exam2 and then a document that's either a doc or a docx. This exam only has two sections. However, each one of the sections has two different parts. So for section 1, you are asked to mention two situations in which language deceived you. That is, you thought you were understanding, but for some reason things were not clear, right? So one of the situations must be one in which you thought you knew what was being said. You didn't ask for clarification, you didn't do anything, you heard what this person said to you and you're like, oh yeah, this is what it means. You went and did it. However, we're talking about you being deceived by language, right? At some point you realized you were told that what you had done wasn't what had been asked to you or wasn't related to what was said to you. You will explain that mistake talking about chapter 6, right? And what is it from chapter 6 that can help us understand why you were deceived by language? That's situation 1. Situation 2, there's another situation in which you know you're not understanding. You know there's something that's not sitting right with you, and yet you did not dare to ask for clarification, right? So you know you don't understand what the person is saying to you, but for whatever reason, you're afraid, you're nervous, you don't want to make a fool out of yourself, you think everybody should understand this. You don't ask, what does it mean? What am I supposed to do? Right? Again, you're going to explain what happened based on the concepts we studied in chapter 6. Was it jargon? Was it slang? Was it a dialect that was being spoken? Was it not clear? Was it ambiguous, vague? What was it from that chapter? So that when I grade it, I'm going to be looking at section 1, your explanation of the misunderstanding and your application of the concepts to that misunderstanding. Your explanation of the second situation in which you didn't ask for clarification and how that's connected to concepts in chapter 6. Okay? Second part of the exam. You're going to find two pieces of advertising. You can use YouTube, you can use magazines, you can use newspapers. You don't even have to use advertisement. You can use shows that you watch as long as you can send me the link. You can use movies, you can use newscasts, you can use whatever it is that you can send me the link, because that's going to be graded as part of your activity, and that's what I'm going to use to make sure that you are doing everything else here in the correct way. So here's what you need to do for each piece of advertisement. So whatever I'm going to explain, you're going to repeat it one more time. For each piece of advertisement, you are going to identify two fallacies that were used there. Each fallacy, you need to define it. The fallacy of slippery slope is defined as, or is when, right? What is it that we have said about this fallacy? And then you're going to explain how that fallacy that you identify is present in the commercial, magazine, whatever it is you're using, right? So first define the fallacy. A slippery slope is defined in the book as this. And then I can see that that fallacy is being used in this commercial because this character does this and then it is said blah 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 blah, right? You're going to do that with another fallacy. Once you're done with that, you're going to present an argument. Remember what an argument is. That states why you think that advertisers use fallacious ways of thinking in the ad. It can be to sell because that's what advertisement does. So what is it? Why are these fallacies part of this attempt to sell something to us? Okay? Then you're going to present two inferences that people can make when watching this commercial, when reading about this, when being part of the audience, right? An inference can be that you're going to look exactly like that person, that you're going to make as much money, whatever inference you think the commercial is trying to pass on to us, the viewers. You're going to go back to chapter 6 and you're going to talk about two ways in which language is being used in the commercial. Do they use slang? Do they use pragmatic meaning? Do they use connotation? What is it? Two things. What are two things that are being used in this commercial? And then you're going to include the link to the advertisement, or if you used an image, then the scanned image of like the magazine or the picture that you took of a subway ad or something like that. Okay? You're going to do the same thing for the other piece of advertisement so that when I'm grading that section, it's going to look something like this, right? This is very similar to the checklist that we came up with when we were doing class. If you have any questions that have not been answered here or in class, send me an email and I will respond. Make sure that you read the exam clearly. These instructions are instructions that you should be understanding without me going over and over what the exam requires you to do. Okay?